Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, and people watching through live stream or maybe later. Welcome bij Ongehoorde Verhalen, Unheard Stories, the second edition about the Dutch ballroom scene. And well, I'm very glad that you're all here. I don't know anything about Dutch ballroom scene, as you might imagine seeing me. But luckily, we have Dayo and Jewell and their guests who will lead you through this evening. So give a big applause for the people here on stage, and I will move away.
Thank you. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Jewell Ninja, and we're going to talk about ballroom scene, the Dutch ballroom scene, but not only the Dutch ballroom scene, also about the future of ballroom. What is ballroom and what will ballroom be in the next 5, 10, 20 years? We have some beautiful guests next to me and also my beautiful sibling, Dayo Ninja.
Yes, Dayo Ninja indeed. Thank you guys for coming, or people. Let's keep it inclusive. Should we do a short introduction?
Yes, just to see what ballroom actual is. Maybe a little clip. Yes, and next to me, we actually have a very, very nice surprise. We have Jojo Mugler next to me. Hi, how are you doing?
Does it work? Hi,
Yes.
well, good evening. I'm doing well. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
So can you introduce yourself? Tell us who is Jojo Mugler?
That's me. Hi, Jojo.
The one and only.
Yeah, I'm English, Dutch. Can we do both? Prefer
I
the
think English would
Yeah?
be best, yeah?
Okay, I'm a Dutch native. I was born and raised in The Hague almost 34 years ago. And I started my ballroom career here in the Netherlands. Yeah, so I've been doing this from 2012, 2013. And I've traveled around the world to chase my passion and to gain knowledge from people who actually started this for us. Yeah.
That's amazing. And maybe also quickly to tell everybody who is not familiar with ballroom, ballroom has categories, certain
Yes.
dance styles, certain categories that you can show off a certain skill that you have. And what is your category?
My main category is runway. Yeah, both all-American and European. It was a really big journey for me. I actually always wanted to do European, but in the beginning I wasn't allowing myself to push through the boundaries that society put on my mind. So I wasn't comfortable in my body. So that reflected in my walk. So when I walked a few times European in my very early beginning, and then I switched to American. And from there, I actually started getting my tens and winning battles, winning competitions around the world. And after I think 4 or 5 years, I finally found my comfortability in who I am and my body as I know it. Without all these boundaries, without all these barriers that I put on myself or that my family or society or whatever put on me. So yeah, I was finally allowing myself to be in my body and moving with all that I was given.
Yes, amazing.
Yeah.
And do you remember a certain moment or a video clip or someone that inspired you to get into ballroom or get into runway? No.
No, I remember millions of clips. I think I've seen it all. But when we started ballroom here in this country, it wasn't necessarily, there was not a lot out there about ballroom. Like how I rolled into it is I always wanted to dance. So when I came to Amsterdam and I finally had space and time to do so, I just went to a dance studio and I went like all in. Like I took all the classes that were out there. So from hip hop, house, whacking, crumping to anything was there. But they had whacking. Yeah. So actually, before I knew about what whacking was, I saw the Femme Letale, which was a all-girl dance group with all femmes, and I was looking at them because they were participating and competing in Move Like Michael Jackson. So I saw these fab girls that were like, they did a combination of voguing and whacking, but I didn't even know. But I just saw 5 girls standing in their feminine power and just mind-blowing. So I used to always rewatch this one clip of them, and I would rewatch it and rewatch it. People around me were getting like crazy, mind exploded, and I was like, there's me again. Like, no, look at, people like, yeah, we saw it. So then I went to the whacking class, and then I looked up this teacher, and then I realized it were those girls from Femme Letale, and it was really crazy to me because I thought they were American. So, I mean, Amber is American, and she was one of the group members, but I didn't know they were living here. So then I looked it up, and I saw that, and I was like, oh my God. So I was like fangirling in the first few classes. But then they moved from that dance studio to another one. And by that time, one of the femmes, Sasa, came back from New York, and she started teaching voguing, more runway and new way. And in Amber's classes, which were whacking, every now and then we did sex siren and runway. So just because there wasn't a lot of things, there were no classes back then. So I entered those classes, and then I think after a few weeks, Amber said, "Oh, I'm doing a ball." I didn't know what that was. Couldn't care less because I just heard the word Victoria's Secret. And I was like, I always wanted to be a secret angel. So I was like, what is this? Where is this? She's like, this is this is that. So I got literally the hugest wings I ever seen myself personally in real life. They were as big as I am. And I got that with a tiny glitter boxer with like glittery heels. And I went there with my little sister. We didn't even know, but I literally went to the ball, stand in front of the stage, and waited for my moment, which was sex siren, which was not even my category.
Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
that was the team for sex siren. I didn't even know. So I just jumped in there and I just like jumped on stage with these huge ass wings. And then it was in Rotterdam, that I know, because then I got chopped. Fair enough. I mean, now with the knowledge I have, it was a fair chop. I did get compliments on my outfit, so
That's
from
always
Archie, which was like he's a mentor for me in other ways
Yeah.
besides ballroom from the States. So when I made the stack, I was like, okay, hey. But it was in Rotterdam. So after that, actually, I also didn't know a lot of people. Maybe it was also a bit insecurity. I got chopped, took off my wings, literally dressed on the runway. And me and my sister left for the last train because it
Wow.
all went later on. Then the second event, I think it was the second, I stayed longer. I didn't came with my sister, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay longer. Then I also gathered a few friends, my sister that stayed there as well. We took a hotel room, I think, in that venue or the venue next door. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna stay. And it was the time Leomi was here. So when I was there and I stayed after my category, again I got chopped by the way for a runway this time. But I stayed, and that's when I saw Leomi Vogue for the first time, and that was like I was standing on a table and I didn't know what happened. It's like adrenaline to all my veins, and I don't know all this music, these crashes. It was super wild, super energetic, and I didn't know what it was still. But in that moment, I realized I'm home. Yeah,
That's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. And you've named a few names, maybe for people that don't know. Amber, which is Amber Vineyard,
Yes.
the mother of House of Vineyard, and Laomi, which is the
Yeah.
queen. The we say I mean, I say the pioneer of Vogue in the nowadays
The
Vogue.
dramatics.
I mean, the dramatic.
Yeah,
She's
she
the
was
one
Femme Queen
starting it and showing it to us. How many years have you been in ballroom? Counted all together, like really being there, maybe out of it.
Now I think then 11 years.
Yeah.
That's long.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
That's long.
10, 11, yeah.
And from all the things that you've seen, experienced, I feel like you've had way more stories than this one. we can go on for hours.
I want to hear all of it. 'Cause I love the way you tell stories.
Maybe
You're like,
afterwards. Afterwards.
Yeah. No, yeah. I've been around and but what was your question? Sorry.
No,
we're getting to it. We're getting to it.
no, but you've been here for quite a while.
Yeah,
How-
from the beginning actually.
From the beginning,
in our
yeah.
country,
Yes.
the beginning there was not even a house yet. So House of Vineyard
Yeah.
wasn't existing. None of us were existing. We had like people walking the balls, but most of those people were dancers or
Yeah.
whackers
Yeah.
that just came out and supported Amber. Not necessarily a part of the ballroom community.
Yeah.
It was just like a tiny group of people that, yeah,
Actually
we're there.
created it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And from there on, we grew. So yeah, it was crazy actually.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So as I can say one of the creators, because you are, how do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you think I'm still going to be a part of the ballroom?
Yes.
Am I going to be maybe a father? Am I going to start a own house? What are your future goals in ballroom?
In ballroom. Okay, so I was off for a while. I had some personal issues. I had to work on mental health issues, and I'm back in balance now. So I wasn't really active in the ballroom. Let's say at the competition, at the balls. But I always was behind the screens, still with my house members, with people I still care about, and I started teaching, which is a really big passion of mine. So definitely, I'm gonna continue that. But as I recently refound my balance, and I'm not done making statements yet. So
Yes.
this
yes.
fires all this time was still burning. It's just like if I'm not stable, or if things are not aligned for me, I'm not the person then to be fierce on the runway and be a model. No, I cannot be that person if I have so much other shit, but it's not, So now everything's aligned, so it's itching.
Okay.
But yes, so I'm not done making statements yet for myself. So I'm definitely still gonna walk runway mostly, but then I also have other goals which to be continued.
Oh, it's a secret. Okay.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
secret.
Besides that, I don't necessarily see myself being a parent soon because I'm still very much focused on myself. But at the same time, connections is connections. I mean, I do have a lot of people I care about, and I want to extend all the information and the knowledge, everything I got. So I do that, but I don't necessarily feel like ready to take on such a huge role because when I do, I take it serious, and I do want to keep that aim. Yeah. So before I want to be that for somebody else, I need to be that for myself.
Very well said.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
Very well said. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, we're probably going to see you in next 10 years.
Definitely.
I really want to see the statements. I want to be at the statements. So when is or do you already have a next ball planned for yourself that you want to walk?
If you want to
I have
share.
a ball planned, but not the next necessarily yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
When?
In December in Paris.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Paris.
Paris girl.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few balls coming out here as well, which I have my eye on, but I don't think the details are out yet, so I don't know for sure yet.
Yeah.
Because for me also everything needs to click. If I'm not inspired by the team or it's not giving me fashion, which happens a lot, then I'm not gonna walk runway.
I mean, yeah, facts have been spoken, but yeah.
Right?
Okay.
No, so if I see something that I see myself doing and I'm like, oh wow, It needs to inspire me as well, as I'm
Yeah.
not just there to give. I want to get something as well.
Yeah,
Mm.
that makes
Yeah.
total sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so
you.
much. This is a very lovely surprise once again, Jojo Mugler.
Best
Thank
surprise, best
you.
surprise. but going back to your statements, what
Yeah.
is like the best statement that you did so far? If you think
Ooh.
about it, the best ball that you had.
It's not necessarily the best ball I had, but one of my biggest accomplishment that I really feel blessed to have had experienced that was going to New York, my very first time walking a ball and winning. And I was the
Ooh.
only American against all butch queen Europeans from New York. So
Ooh.
I don't know if everybody knows here, but American and European are very different things. And American, you can do so less, so little compared to European.
Yeah.
So for me then to win over them in New York, my first time there,
Mm.
and then I got recruited in the House of La Beja, and that was my dream house. Like 2 years in a row, I wanted to do that, and I get there. They actually came out as a house to watch me walk, and then I win, and then I got recruited. So
It's like goals upon goals upon goals.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And from there on, I actually got signed as a model in New York as well. And I did New York Fashion Week as my first gig. So that
Ooh.
entire journey
Mm.
was just like a dream. And I never in life thought I would ever have gotten the chance to do that. So it was beyond my dreams. Like my dreams were so little in life. Like, and then at that moment I was like way beyond it. And I'm there. I'm like, wow, the sky's the limit. So I really feel like I have the ability to take over the world, and I'm not done yet.
Manifest it, Ashe.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
definitely. I have big plans. Yes. Yeah, and I feel I have the capability. So I'm curious, excited, and inspired as well. I mean, yeah.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Well,
Love hearing that.
crossing my fingers for all those dreams to come true because I love it.
Thank you.
Yes. Praying to it. Thank you. So we also have
you.
another beautiful guest next to you.
Hi there.
Hello. Dayo, would you like to introduce our next guest?
Well, first, we didn't really do the intro, but Jade, can you tell us something about, first of all, are you in a house? What is your name in the ballroom scene? Tell us something about yourself.
Hi, so I'm Jade. My name in ballroom is also Jade. And I'm a 007, which means I'm not in any houses. I'm non-binary, which means I use both she and he pronouns. And so some people outside of ballroom still use my born name, which is Ryan. But ever since joining ballroom, I've found a great sense of empowerment and self-identity within my femininity. And so therefore I started leaning more into being feminine in my daily life. And that's also why I started using Jade outside of ballroom as well now.
Yeah.
Okay, love that. Thank you for the introduction. So we can use her, he pronouns, and we can use Jade as and Ryan, or
In
Prefer
this
Ryan?
interview, I'd prefer Jade.
okay, Jade it is. Okay, love it. And you're a 007. Can you explain what a 007 is?
So when you enter ballroom, most people when they enter ballroom are houseless, which means they are not associated with one of the houses in ballroom. And houses are like the families or teams that you represent on the stage or on the floor when you participate in ball. And I'm a 007, which means I'm not representing any house or family yet.
Emphasis on yet.
Yet.
Mm.
And I'm representing myself basically when I walk on the stage. Yeah.
But as we have heard, obviously, you
Yet.
have some, yeah, right, yet, and you have some people
Yes.
around you that care about you because I've
Yes.
seen some pictures with some pretty good people in the ballroom scene. So
Ooh.
you've been in the right circles.
I
Do you
have.
have a house that you really that you're looking at just
Well,
like
that's-
Yad Lebeja?
It's funny because Jojo is here to support me actually.
The T.
Oh.
So I invited Jojo because Jojo's my aunt. And Jojo was talking about their little sister. And that's actually my mother. So Shiva Bugler is my mom. So of course, that's the house I'm looking into.
Okay.
That's my tea.
We know.
So we might be adding a little MM to your last name.
Maybe.
Hopefully, we better cross your fingers, everyone.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, I love it. And what is your category?
So my category is Vogue Femme. I don't know if all the viewers know what Vogue Femme is.
Can you do a little?
I'll do a little explanation. So Vogue is an essential part of ballroom. People call it a dance. I don't like to call it a dance. I call it a style of expression. And Vogue is a style of expression that started in New York when the ballroom scene started. It's based on posing, and it's based on, I would say, really expressing your inner truth. And Vogue Femme is one of the three major styles of voguing. And Vogue Femme is really has a big emphasis on femininity. So that's my category. That's what I walk. It's a style of movement expressing femininity and expressing poses that are very feminine. Yeah.
Okay, I love it. And can you maybe you talked about the three big categories when it comes to folk or elements. Can you share the three big ones?
So there's the old way, which is where Vogue originally started. So as I said earlier, Vogue started in the 80s and 90s in New York. And it was started by actually like the most marginalized people on earth, I would say, which is queer Black people. And they were all, of course, street dancers, and they were dancing across the streets of Harlem, across clubs, in nightlife, because being queer was like a death sentence in those times, you know, a prison sentence for sure. So it all came from underground, and it started with different styles of movement. So like, I would say, think of fighting styles, karate, kung fu, think of hip hop, break dancing, and especially with inspiration from poses from magazines like Vogue, which is why it's called Vogue. So that's the old way. I would say it's more masculine, but that's not necessarily, but I would say it's more masculine. Then there's Vogue Femme, and Vogue Femme was pioneered by Black trans women. So within those groups, there were always trans women, of course, and trans women are actually the mothers of ballroom. So they created Vogue Femme. And a lot of this style has emphasis on femininity, because back then, as a trans woman, it was really hard to get the needs to be seen as a woman by society. It was harder to get surgeries. It was harder to get hormones. It was really a tough time. But one thing you can control is the way you move your body. And so Folk Femme had a big emphasis on being feminine to show that I am a woman. So that's the Folk Femme. And then the newest and branch of voguing is New Way. And New Way has a lot of emphasis on pose specifically. And so it's like, imagine a pose, but then the craziest pose you've ever seen in your life. That's New Way. So it's like, how far can you stretch your body beyond the idea of imagination? So yeah, those are the
got a body like a snake. New Way is for you.
Exactly. if you have no bones.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yes.
So New Way is definitely not for me.
Same.
Okay, so we've talked about the categories that you're walking now. Are you looking at any category in the future? You're like, maybe I want to do a little sex siren. I want to do a little runway.
Well, I'm still finding out, because I walk the baby category right now. I'm a beginner, which means I walk beginner's performance. And you walk beginner's performance for about a year before you have to leave. And then as soon as you leave, the Vogue category starts branching off into different subcategories, I would say, based on identity. So I would be walking as a drags performer. And because I'm of course still figuring out where exactly I fit in the gender spectrum. But because I would be walking drags as a category, I would love to walk drags realness, which is being able to pass as a cis woman, as a drag queen. Or we don't call it drag queen in ballroom. There's a big difference between a drag queen and a drags in ballroom. But that's my category. That's what the category I would like to walk, drags realness. Yeah.
And do you have any specific thing in mind? Because for example, I always wanted to walk sex siren in a suit for some reason. Do you have something in specific? I want to walk drag realness as, I don't know, a celebrity or something, an iconic.
That's really an interesting question. I wouldn't say I have something specific that I would like to wear, but the essence I would like to give is really giving a throwback to the femme queens that have inspired me. So I'd love to walk inspired by like an effect from Deja or like Alyssa or something, you know, which are two icons in the scene.
I would love that. Yeah, I can already imagine it.
Right? Like
It's gonna
a
be-
big production,
Mm.
and it's just me walking out in a Deja effect.
I see everything: the smoke, the effects, the
Exactly.
drama,
The paparazzi that I'm going to hire. No.
the higher paparazzi. Okay, nice. Okay, so we talked about the house you might be in the future, the category that you want to be in the future, and the category that you're in right now. Is there any iconic move that you're working on right now or that you already have? When we see, we're like, this is so Jade.
I don't really have a signature or anything like that yet, but there are certain things that people have already told me, like, oh, that's so Jade, like
Already?
when I'm training and stuff, and specifically when it comes to dipping, like I love an arched back. I love a really arched back with a really high leg. So I'm hoping that in the future, when someone does an incredibly arched dip, it's like, oh, that's so Jade.
Oh, that'd be nice. I mean, unfortunately, we had some clips we wanted to show of your training and the balls you walked. Because when you mention it, I'm thinking about the practice clip. One of the practice clip, and you really did have like this arched toe, like you did some ballet in the past, maybe.
I have no dance background.
No, because I
None
loved it.
whatsoever. No.
Okay, that's ridiculous though, because it was really like, okay, pointed feet, the back was up. I was like, okay, baby girl, there you go.
Training, a lot of training.
Okay, we can see who's training you because
No shade.
right?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I think we've come at the end of this segment. Do anything you wanna?
Well, we have talked about the famous house of Mugler. Maybe a new
Prospect.
prospects, new baby in the house. Also nice to know, what is a house? What is a family? What is a parent? How does that really, how does that work? We have a little clip about house mothers. Maybe we can show that to the people.
Yes, our house mother.
From the house of extravaganza, mother of the year, keeping her children intact. Can we have Angie Extravaganza? Work class girl, walk that runway. This is from Andre Christian girl.
My birthday or coming out, I always get a birthday gift from Angie. Or get one from my real mother. Like when I got thrown out of my house, Angie let me stay with her until I got myself together and I got working. She always fed me. She can be a pain in the ass at times, but I wouldn't trade her in for any other mother.
You know, you have to have something to offer in order to lead. The mother usually becomes the mother because she's usually the best one out of the group.
I'm Willie Ninja, the mother of the house of Ninja.
Give him what he wants.
I'm the mother of the house of Ninja because they say I'm the best vulgar out. To be the mother of the house, you have to have the most power. Take a real family. It's the mother that's the hardest worker, and the mother gets the most respect. As far as my naming my house, the house of Ninja, ninjas hit hard, they hit fast, an invisible assassin, and that's what we are. We come out to assassinate.
The House of La Beja is the legendary house above all of them. I have the most members, I'm the most popular. New York City is wrapped up in being La Beja. So it speaks for itself. And I am the fiercest mother out of all of them.
Amazing. So I actually want to go back to you, Jojo. Do you have a mother, a father, someone that you really cherish as a parent in the ballroom scene?
Yes, I do. Actually, really funny because I've been doing this for a really long time, and I actually just like discovered for the last year or 2 years who that person actually is for me. And that's the legendary Marina, 007. She's the only legend we have in this country. The first one also. Yeah, because for me also, okay, when I grew up in life, I was removed from my parents when I was 6 years old. So I never was raised with my parents. My sister always stayed at home. So I did every now and then in the weekends or when I was allowed to go to my family. But I never had that connection or that bond, you know? So all these years in ballroom, and I see people calling their mother this and mother daughter that, and I'm like, I was thinking like I never had that connection with anyone. Also, for me, that title, that role you have to fulfill needs to be. It's very big, you know. It's not just like calling somebody something just to call them that. Since I never actually had parents and I basically raised up myself, it was really like, okay, so throughout my journey, I've been everywhere, and all this time I was thinking, like, okay, who'd I have? Because I already had house fathers and mothers from, let's say, the House of La Beja at first. I had a connection with Father Derek, but it wasn't really, it was prior to when I was actually recruited. Then, when I was in the house, I started to build on this connection with Tiny La Beja, but then he passed away. And it changed a lot for me because, first of all, I was recruited in the house in New York, and that's where I was close to with other people. I was there on and off because I was doing model work and also traveling for ballroom, but I wasn't there 24/7. So I really was depending on those moments. I was there to train with the house and build connection. And then when he passed away, that kind of like came to an end. But it was a growing connection. But it wasn't. I didn't reach that point yet where I say, okay, that person really was that fulfilled that role for me. So then later on, and actually recently, I really came to the realization that that person that was always there for me from New York to Paris to I don't know where, made sure I was okay, whether she had to walk herself or not. Even though I was surrounded by all these people, she always came through to make sure I was okay at any point in time, was Marina. So after 8 years of me doing this, I realized, wait a minute, Marina's my mother. And I went to my sister Shiva, and I was like, actually, I realized I'm gonna claim Marina as my mother because she's the only one. And me and Shiva, we were the only ones, the first two that were really close to her like that. So then she was like, yeah, I actually also came to that realization. So then I went to Marina and say, actually, I have to say, I'm going to claim you. You're my mother. And she's like, yes, baby, I know. You're my daughter for years. I was like, but then also she's not the type of mother that will say, oh, you're my daughter. You know, she really waited for me to realize it and then claim the title for myself. And then she just like, yeah, I knew it, but you had to say it because I'm not going to claim your talent, you know? So yeah, father not in ballroom, and people also a lot of people in ballroom often have like ballroom mother and fathers or gay mother and fathers, which both of that I didn't know. I mean now my ballroom mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, but besides that, no.
No, but I mean that's beautiful that you saw a person, you felt connected,
Yeah.
and you just claimed it.
Yeah, after years, huh? But then I
years, but
realized,
you
like,
did it.
hey, yeah. It's really funny because then, I mean, I could have had like 6 or 7 mothers or fathers in my journey. Don't get me wrong. It's just that for me, it's not. I never had parents, so for me, for a person to say this or that, it's just some big shoes to fill. You know, because I
True.
came pretty far in life by me and myself.
Yeah.
You know, ups and downs, of course. But then I was like, so what does that mean then to be that? Because then later on in life, I reconnected with my birth father. But I also don't have that parental understanding. It's just really weird. I mean, I know he's my father, but I never look at him as like some, I don't know, somebody who has like autoritaire I don't know the word in English suddenly,
Yeah,
but
we understand.
that's like parental
Yeah.
role, you know. Even though I have respect and love and everything, it just wasn't there. Yeah,
Yeah, that's different. And that's something that, you have in life. You can't change that all of a sudden,
no,
right?
no, no. It's either there or it isn't, you know.
Yeah.
And like since I was literally not in my parents' house, so basically outside on my own from when I was 6. Then suddenly at 24, 25, then who's going to tell me what? Sorry, I already seen it all, done it all multiple times. And then
Who are
suddenly
you?
going to give me a curfew or like, no, it just doesn't work like that, you know? I mean, I respect everything, but it's not like, oh, okay, but no. Like my sister, let's say, she does have that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's funny to see how then your sister and you divide so differently in that.
Yeah, but she
way.
never was removed.
Ah,
So
okay.
she
that's
always lived with my
different.
parents, so
Yes,
that's the difference, you know.
Yeah.
Like
Different
our
dynamic.
lives, it's like 2 different planets.
Okay.
Yeah.
But luckily, you have a beautiful mother right now, Marina.
Yes.
And it does feel like, is it really like a mother? You talk with her every day, or
As
whenever you
much as
have
we
it?
can.
Yes.
Yeah. No, but the emotional and the support, emotional support mostly is really there. Also, as far as it comes to ballroom, she taught me a lot. Like I have so much stories in details of things that went down in New York and this and that and things I was present at. Like, I learned a lot from her, and she supports me to the fullest. Yeah,
It's beautiful.
yeah.
Beautiful. And Jade, because you said that your mother is Shiva Mugler,
That's right.
how did that came to light?
So I moved from Suriname when I was 17. So I'm actually a student here. I'm only here for like 4 years now. And I had to say goodbye to my family in Sue, who I miss dearly. My brother's right here now, looking at me. He was like, "What do you mean?" Well, but it is true. I had to say goodbye to my mom and dad. And I actually, growing up in Suriname, in like a homophobic macho culture, was hard as a queer person. So moving here, I had no experience with queer life at all. And the first time that I ever heard about ballroom was I was at this pride party that Amber was hosting. And I was like, I read this pamphlet about the ballroom scene. I was like, oh my God, what's this? And then I did my research. I found clips of Leomi too. So Leomi was also someone who like really was like mind blowing to me. And so I really, really, really wanted to get into ballroom. And I originally wanted to do Vogue Femme, but I couldn't because it was so busy. It was right after the first lockdown. So everybody wanted to get back into training. Everybody. You could book lessons, and the lessons were booked for like 4 months in advance. So there was no way to get into those. But I actually met Jojo and Shiva's brother, Nagato. And I was talking to Nagat like, oh my God, I really want to do Vogue Femme. How do I start? Like, how do I start? And he was like, well, that's actually funny because my sister, Shiva, she's teaching right now. And that's where I met her. So she was one of the first teachers I've ever had, which is crazy because a lot of people nowadays get taught Vogue Femme. And I feel like in the OG days, it wasn't taught. You just went into the circle. But the way that Vogue is right now is, it's very approachable, which is a good thing for me, for example, who was looking for queer life in a new place, actually my entire life. So then I met Shiva, and Shiva had been teaching me for a while. Then the second lockdown started, and after the second lockdown, I got so busy. I was going through emotional shit. And Shiva reached out to me after like 3 months of not talking. She reached out, and she was like, hey, baby, you haven't been showing up. Where are you? Like, how is it going? And that was the first time that anyone in ballroom actually reached out to me because I was so eager to get into ballroom, but nobody yet had seen me like that yet. Shiva was the first person to recognize how eager I was. And she was like, you haven't been here for so long. Where are you? And that called me back into it. So I was like, oh my God, I really want to go back into this. So then I had been training with Shiva and my other aunt, Celine, for like a year. And I hadn't called her my mother or anything. But then I went to Rotterdam, and nobody had seen me in Rotterdam yet. And I went to Rotterdam, and I was doing my tens in a practice. and this person in the crowd screamed, "That's my daughter! That's my daughter!" And I was like, huh? And then people came up to me like, "No, don't let her claim you like that. You shouldn't let her do that. She's not your mother. You don't even know her." And I was like, "Is she?" So I went up to her. I was like, "Are you my mother? Like, what's this?" And she's like, "Oh, do you want me to be your mom?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I think I have a mother. I think Shiva's my mom." She's like, "Oh, really, Shiva? That's so cute." Shout out to my Leia.
Of course, of course.
And then I went home and I was like, "Shiva, so I just got called daughter by someone. What does this mean? Like, I thought you were my mom. Are you my mom?" And she's like, "Yes, I've been waiting for you to ask me that." She was like, "I'm not the person to claim mother. I don't want to put that title on anybody. So I never called you my daughter. But if you feel comfortable with calling me mom, then let's make this happen." So that was a year ago in February. And since then, we've been having a lot of adventures. She's been bringing me to every ball that I can possibly walk, being there with me, holding my hand between the battles, screaming for me during the battles. So yeah, that's my mom.
So also a little bit claimed your own mom.
Yes.
A little bit, tiny bit.
Actually, yeah. I claimed her.
Yeah, you claimed her. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, maybe like I don't know if anybody in the audience wants to ask these beautiful guests any questions.
This is the moment.
No? Okay. Then I actually want to go to one.
There's one question.
Oh.
I'd actually like to ask, could you explain a bit about what's happening in Suriname with the ballroom scene? Because there's been things happening. I'm curious to take of it.
That's a very good one.
Can we do a quick? So the question is, because the live doesn't hear you if you don't.
Oh, yes.
So the question was, what is happening in Suriname with the ballroom scene? Well, there is no ballroom scene yet, but there are a few Surinamese people or people with Surinamese ancestry that have been trying to bring ballroom over to Suriname. So I'm actually really excited for that. Right now, nothing's really going on because like Suriname has a lot going on in general. But yeah, I'm hoping that whoever wants to bring Suriname to ballroom to Suriname would also like broadcast it and have more people get into the project. Because right now it's been like closed off projects from like certain people. But I would love to make it like a Surinamese people in the Netherlands bring ballroom to Suriname type of project where everybody can be involved. You know, that would be amazing.
Well, honey, maybe you can be the pioneer.
Hey,
I'm just saying.
In a long while, because I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything that I don't feel is that I'm ready for. So it'll be a long while for me to make my statements, make my moments before I'm ready to bring something that I am borrowing anywhere. You know,
So a future goal.
maybe
Far future.
far future. Yeah.
Far future. Okay. I want to know, because I have a beautiful co-host with me. Dayo, tell a bit about yourself.
shoot.
Who is Dayo? What is Dayo about? How did Dayo got in the ballroom scene?
Ooh. Well, I'm Dayo. I wanted to say Dayo 007. Damn.
Oh,
no, I'm Dayo Ninja.
wow.
N-I-N-J-A.
Wow.
Oh, not
Willie.
disrespecting Willie
Your
too.
father's name, come on.
Well, I got into the ballroom scene. I had this. I have this jar at home, and I put a goal in it every year. I put a couple of goals in it, and it ranges from writing a book to walking a ball was in there. Because I saw a bunch of clips online, and I wrote on it, I really want to walk, and I wanted to walk in a runway, and I wanted to walk in outfit. Lena Waithe had this outfit for the Met Gala with the rainbow thing. Drape, I don't know how to call it in English. And I really wanted to do something like that, just somewhere. And then Amber had this ball, and that was the exact description of the category. I was like, this is ridiculous. The universe is really letting me know, bitch, do this. Can I curse? So
I already did.
Yeah, right. It's also a part of ballroom. So I actually trained with Jojo. I went to his classes. And then I was like, okay, I don't think I trained enough, but I don't want to let this ball go away. So I did walk. I made a suit, this white suit with a trans statement on it. And then I walked my first ball, All American Runway. And I was like, okay, shit, I want to do this. I want to do this. So it was amazing. I loved it. And then I went to the classes and followed the classes of Perry Ninja, Sex Siren, and here we are.
Here you are, because let's say it all, Dayo Ninja, and with Perry Ninja as father, you're now a part of the House of Ninja.
Yes.
How has it been being a part of an iconic house and to be walking Sex Siren?
The Sex Siren was there before, the house was there. But walking Sex Siren is amazing. It's liberating. I can do a bunch of stuff and people are like, okay, amazing, yay. But it's also, I think a lot of people underestimate what ballroom is. It's not just you walking the ball and then you go home. It's a part of your life. So if you walk folk femme, if you walk runway, if you walk Sex Siren, in your day-to-day life, you have to incorporate that. You can't just show up at the ball. You need to train. And the training is not going to be once a week, once in a while. You really need to train and train and train. And if you walk body, if you walk Sex Siren, you need to make sure that your body looks right. So that also, if you walk face, you got to make sure, you don't have blemishes. You need to take care of yourself. Because otherwise, you could have just walked in the supermarket if that's what you wanted to do. You really need to make it a part of your life. So I think that makes it great. But being a part of the ninja, I before I was a ninja, I told everyone, if Perry's gonna start a chapter, I want to be in the House of Ninja. And everyone told me, Perry's not gonna start a chapter. He's not gonna be there. It's not gonna be a Dutch chapter. I was going, you wait and see. And then Perry asked us, do you want to be in the House of Ninja? And I was like, I told you bitches, but I couldn't tell anyone for a year. So for a year, I was like, I'm gonna be a ninja, but y'all don't know yet. But I just couldn't wait to rub it in everyone's face. Like I told y'all this was gonna happen. This was gonna happen. So that was the biggest shit ever. The best shit ever.
Amazing. So one last question for you. What is your future in ballroom? Do you have any goals set for the next 5, 10, 20, I don't know how many years? Do you have something that you feel like I want to achieve that?
I don't have a goal necessary. What I do want to achieve is make moments. Even if I don't win the grand prize, I want to be able to say, remember this ball, and everyone's going to be like, shit, yes, you were the production you did, the entrance was, what? That's what I want. For people to remember what I did. Because let's be honest, if I talk about a ball 2 years ago and I told people I won one grand prize, they don't know what I did exactly if it wasn't amazing. But if I tell people, okay, remember this ball, they were like, yes, bitch, you what? That's what I want, to be memorable and have crazy effects, crazy productions, just all around crazy stuff. Yeah. So, Jewell, Ninja. Tell us, how did you roll into this beautiful, lovely scene?
Well, actually, funny thing, we're showing a picture right now. This is Lysandra, legendary Lysandra Ninja.
Say it right.
I saw a clip of her. I think this is probably already over 15 years. No, not 15 years. 10 to 12 years. Long years ago. And I was like, who is this insanely energized person? Like what is happening? And then I know that it was a battle between Lysandra and Inksy Moon, if I say it correctly. I think it was Street Dance or something. Yes, Street Star, yes, thank you. And I just kept watching that clip, like, oh my God, what is happening? And then I saw some multiple clips of folk. Like, what is folk femme? What are people doing? I don't know. And then years later, I met one of my close friends, and he's like, yeah, I'm in the House of Vineyard, and I take classes. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. Oh, hi. And I actually took the classes at Amber Vineyard, and I really sucked at it. Everybody was like, yeah, you should do folk femme. That fits you perfectly. I was like, no, it's not for me. And then I started looking at balls more, like, okay, but is there anything else in ballroom that I can do? Because it is a scene that I feel present in. And that's when I already saw Sex Siren, and I saw Body, and I remember see clips from Perry Ninja, and I was like, if you have a body like that, if you can move like that, you're created by God. It's just insane. Like, wow. But I'm not a man, so I cannot do it like that. And that's when I saw femme queens do sex siren. And then I thought, oh, this is a whole nother ball game. And I was still too scared to do sex siren because I just didn't felt like I was supposed to show my sexuality, my sex appeal to everybody. But then one day there was this little category called Miss Cheesecake at a ball. And Miss Cheesecake was body mixed with sex siren, but then luscious body. And as you can see, I got a whole lot of titties and a whole lot of ass. So I thought, let's do that. Let me just do that. And I remembered walking, it was the 3 Times Nix festival ball. And I just heard someone screaming from a corner really hard, like, yes! I was like, who is that person? And then a few days later, I get this text message from the person that I've been looking at for quite a while. It was Perry, saying, like, I saw you at the ball. I thought you were amazing. I want to train you. When can we meet up? And I want to get you further into ballroom. I was like, wow, you don't know how I feel right now. So that's when I started training sex siren and feeling my sex and feeling my oats. And then also I met Dayo. All of a sudden I had a sibling. I was like,
You're
what?
stuck with me.
Huh? Shit, what? And we got the news that we were going to be the Dutch chapter of the Ninjas. But we had to keep it quiet for a whole year.
Shit. It was a tough year, I can tell you that much.
It was a tough year, but we also decided to come out together in the category, which I think was one of my best moments so far in ballroom, to come out as a ninja, but also come out with, one of my favorite siblings. To really do sex siren well and to really make a moment. We didn't win grand prize, but we made a moment. And people still talk about us at the ball. So I feel that is the best part.
Okay, and the next 5 to 10 years, are you going to be Grandma Ninja? What's the plan? You're going to be walking with your cane and
Nanny
surprise
Ninja. I think just like you, I wanna make moments. I wanna make statements. I'm not the person to be so dominated on winning prizes. Like, of course, the goal is to get a grand prize. That's your main goal. But ballroom is also about community. It's also about celebration. It's also about feeling comfortable around a group of people that all actually have the same struggle in different ways, but still the same struggle. And I think that's something that we should not forget on how ballroom was established. And, also looking now at Willie Ninja, he was the type of person to always put a little glam in everything that he did. And that's also one of my goals, is to really put the glam in what I do. And I do sex siren now, but I want to do body at one point. Maybe I even want to do face if, I get enough Botox in there. But I just want to do different things, and I want to put the glam in there and really celebrate ballroom instead of being so hyper-focused on winning. Winning is fun, but making moments is more fun.
Yeah, I can agree. Definitely. So it's all about creating the moments, enjoying life, enjoying the family.
Yes.
I get that. I love it.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe in 5 years, hey, who knows? Maybe I'm a mother myself. I'm talking about real life, not ballroom. I don't know if I could be a mother in ballroom. It's too much.
Giving birth to kids might be easier than being a mom in ballroom.
Honestly, I think it is. So yeah, and it would be really cute to actually have a kid and put my kid really in ballroom.
Baby ninja.
Yeah, baby ninja. That sounds so cute. The first baby ninja.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. Audience, any questions when we come to the end of this talk? Not all at once, not all at once. No.
Oh, I see a finger. Wait, I'm going to walk to you.
Okay, what would you guys' advice be to someone who wants to get into ballroom? What would you like to say to that person?
I think we all should answer that actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, I think you should really do your research because one thing about ballroom is what I think is very disrespectful is when people just go to balls and they announce a category and someone just jumps up on stage. And there's a whole history behind every single category and you're just jumping up and doing whatever. There is, even if it looks easy, the things that look the easiest in life is because someone is executing it very well. And if you're just jumping on stage and, for example, Sex Siren, they just throw up their shirt and then it's Sex Siren. Folk Femme, they just do some hand movements and then it's the elements. No, it's a lot. So do your research, look at the clips, go to a few balls, a few kikis. You know, just embrace yourself with the environment and maybe walk a kiki first before you throw yourself in the harsh world of the ball. And then you walk a ball and then, you know, get some good guidance, stuff like that.
I would have to say, on top of doing your research, also don't be afraid, because I feel like a lot of people outside of ballroom look at people within ballroom with like, oh my God, they're everything, they're amazing. Like really look up, which is good, look up to us. But no, but if you really zoom into it, everybody in ballroom is just a human like everybody else. And we're all at the end of the day just queer people showcasing our beauty. So don't be afraid to reach out to anybody within ballroom. Like if you really want to join ballroom, people will see that genuinity and they will really want to help you. So just like I feel everybody in ballroom got helped by someone in ballroom, don't be afraid to reach out to people in ballroom and ask them for advice, ask them for anything that you would want.
I heard the word already before, but for me, very important is respect your elders, and not necessarily us in this country, but all the people that paved the way, people that lost their lives in order for us to be where we are today in this continent. So respect where this comes from and all the things that tag along. Then learn your place and earn your spot. It's a one-liner. Because you have to know when it's your space or not, when you can claim it and not, and you have to also make a name for yourself, make that legacy, make those moments before you can feel entitled to anything within ballroom. Yeah, and be yourself. Just be yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, what I also think is very important is to always bring your A game. Whenever you feel that you have done the research, when you reach out to people, you know everything that you want, but still put your A game. Be polite, you know, be respectful, already said, and also be polished. You know, don't come half baked, don't come in a half outfit, no. From top to toe, like the accessories, your hair, makeup, everything. And it doesn't have to be expensive. I mean, my outfits they're not expensive, honey. They're cheap, really cheap. But I look like $1 million and I wear it like $1 million. And that's something that I always give as a tip. Really be polished, polite, and respectful from head to toe.
Okay, as a last comment, because we're past time, obviously, very ballroom of us.
There's one more question.
One more?
I think this is an extension to the topic on ballroom, but for anyone out there struggling to, I guess in this way say, be themselves because they're not being supported by others or by those who they care about or their family, is there anything each one of you could give as advice?
That's a good question, first of all. I think it's a very easy thing to say right now for me in this position, but definitely look for your people. The positive thing about this day and age is that we have a lot of internet. When I was a young kid, we didn't have internet. I'm sorry, I'm giving away my age, but we just didn't. I couldn't Google like, okay, what is this or what is this? But you do have that now. You have a lot of things you can Google. Just so Google, go to meetings, go to activities. A lot of cities have activities, so find activities, go. Even if you find one person you like, this person can maybe bring you into another circle that you that you like, where you can stay in, where you find more people that are just like you?
I would have to say stay hopeful, because a lot of people in ballroom come from a background that's very harsh and very trauma heavy, I would say, especially as queer Black people, especially as queer people of color. But as you can see with a lot of people in ballroom, if you continue going for it, if you continue hoping for a community, if you continue hoping for friends, for sisters, for mothers and daughters and brothers, eventually it will find you. And that's my advice. So just don't give up. Keep holding on.
Yes. First of all, if there's anybody out there, realize you're not alone. And then be brave and find courage to reach out. There is, I mean, every little town or city, there's something going on in this country, and we already have a huge advantage and privilege that we are nowadays in this day and age where a lot of people can already openly be themselves. But if not, like, travel to the closest town, city, whatever, and there are gay or queer spaces where you can just walk in and find people who are similar and they've been doing this for longer. And yeah, just realize you're not alone.
Yeah. And also very important to know, we know that this has been said many times, you have real family and you have chosen family. And the fact that chosen family is actually people that you actually decide to have as family, that's the most important part. And like already been said, you will find that right person that fits you the best, that fits you the best as a father, fits you the best as a mother, fits you the best as a sibling, sister, brother, anything. Sometimes when we go back to ballroom, doesn't even have to be in within the house. I mean, I have brothers and sisters that are not in the house, and I consider them my brother or sister. But also, I mean, Dayo, I only have known you now for maybe 1.5 years or something. But it feels like I already know you for over 15, 20 years. So sometimes you just meet someone and it instantly clicks. You instantly bond and you feel this is good. And I think with queer families, that's the right way to create your own family, to really go with your gut feeling.
Yes. Jojo has said it. You've been in ballroom 10, 11 years. To round off this evening, this is the year of 10-year Dutch ballroom scene anniversary. So, at the second half of the year, we won a ball, obviously, but we are still looking for some sponsors. So, if you have it in your pocket or on your bank account, please make your way to one of the Dutch ballroom parents. And if you don't know any, you can still look up one of them online. You can also contact Amber Vineyard or Ellie Vineyard. If you have some opportunities, you can also contact our father. I'm giving you a job right now. Perry Ninja, just contact someone in the ballroom scene to let us know that you are able to sponsor. If it's a venue, if it's cash, everything is welcome. We really want to celebrate this 10-year anniversary as big as bad as possible.
Yes, and for all of our guests over here, thank you so much. I hope you will learn more about it. And we'll maybe see you at the 10-year anniversary ball. That would be really nice. Maybe as a walker, maybe just as a visitor. Who knows? Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
And legend. What category are you walking in?
Femme Queen Realness.
Femme Queen Realness is in the house.
Ah, so I've snatched before.
And any other category?